Thomas, over to you.
No worries, we'll go with that. So, yes, Dante Reef, so that's our recent discovery. So we have completed a single drill program at the beginning of this year, and we've made what is looking like a large copper, platinum and gold discovery, where we are in the West Musgrave region of West Australia, and it's a pretty exciting province. It's definitely a tier 1 province, and that's been proven by some of the mining development projects which are under development there at the moment. It's got, we're landlocked by BHP, so we've got a large portfolio in the province of 650 square kilometres, and it's a very low sovereign risk province from the perspective that there's already multiple established mining agreements in the region with the Ngundarra people, and it's the same traditional owner group who have the rights over the entire province. And so BHP has a mine in development there called Nebo Babel. There are a series of large resources, and there's another company out there which has an established mining agreement as well. So the pathway to project development is quite, well, we see it as being quite low risk and quite smooth, given those established mining frameworks which are already existing in the area. So the project is really large. It's 650 square kilometres, so it's a regional scale. We've already made 2 large discoveries, copper, platinum and gold. So, you know, it's an excellent suite of metals to have together. This is the first discovery of its type in Australia. It's very similar to the Bushveld province of South Africa, which has been producing for over 100 years, platinum, palladium, gold, copper and nickel. And I'll go through that analogy and the comparisons shortly on a later slide. As I said, we've got 2 discoveries already. We've only completed 1 drill program. It was a first pass reconnaissance drill program. So it's pretty unusual to have made multiple discoveries of this scale, because at the moment we've identified, or we've drilled and discovered up to 20 kilometres of outcropping mineralised strike proven with the drill. So to be extending beneath the surface, the mineralisation outcrops and then extends shallow dipping beneath the surface. You know, to have achieved that on a first pass reconnaissance drill program really highlights the sheer scale of the opportunity out here. And it is already a large discovery. We think it has a very good chance of being a major discovery in time with further drilling. And one of the beautiful things about this discovery is we're not throwing darts at a dartboard. With its very high strike rate, 39 out of 40 holes that we drilled targeting this mineralization intercepted it. So it's an extremely high strike rate. We have a very strong cash position. We just raised $6 million at 6 cents just recently, and we're using those funds at the moment. We're in the middle of an aggressive drill program right now. So we're doing, we're running firstly diamond drilling. So the first drill program was RC. We did about 10 or so thousand meters. We're now undertaking diamond drilling across the Reef 1, Reef 2 discoveries, and then we'll be moving into RC. And there's going to be a huge amount of infill and extensional drilling there, which we expect to carry on that high strike rate of shallow targeted copper, platinum and gold mineralization from surface extending down dip. And like I said, this was just it was a first pass drill program, but there are a lot of targets here. So the project itself has huge potential for new discoveries. We think that with further drilling, we have a high level of conviction that we're going to make additional discoveries. We've only tested a couple of the targets on the project so far, and we're making preparations to clear and get ready for those many of those additional targets to be drilled as well, some of which are outcropping and appear to be mineralized from surface as well. So here we are. I said we kind of refer to this as the Bushveld in Australia, and it is essentially very, very similar to the Bushveld. It's a large laid-in mafic intrusion. There are only a handful of them exposed at surface globally. The Bushveld is the largest. Some notable deposits in the Bushveld. It's a reef-style mineralization, and what we've discovered at Dante Project is reef-style copper with precious metals together in the same layer. And a notable example or comparison in the Bushveld would be the Platte Reef deposit, which is a combination of copper, nickel, platinum, palladium, gold, and rhodium in the same reef layer. The interesting thing about Platte Reef and the deposits of the Bushveld is that they are typically deep undercover, and they're typically quite thin. Platte Reef is the thickest of the Bushveld reefs. At the Dante project, the reefs that we are drilling are 5 to 10 meters thick, and they outcrop from surface. So flat reef is under 600 meters beneath the surface. So they're installing at the moment one of the world's largest hoist shafts to get down to that reef mineralization to bring it up to the surface. But that won't be necessary, we don't believe, at Dante project, because these reefs outcrop and they're shallow dipping and they're thicker than the average bushveld reef. The other reefs in the bushveld, which have been in production for over 100 years, included the Morensky Reef, which is a combination of platinum, palladium, rhodium, gold, copper, and nickel. So similar to what we have at the Dante reefs, base metals and precious metals in the same layer. But the Morensky Reef, despite being in production for over 100 years and commercial production, is only kind of 0.4 to 2 meters thick. So, 40 centimeters to 2 meters thick. And that has supported 100 years of production, highly profitable production. The UG2 reef is also in the bushveld. That's similar, about 0.5 meter to 2 meters thick, depending on where you are. And that has supported over 50 years of commercial production. So globally, these reefs are some of the most successful and profitable mining operations. The Dante project is underexplored. It's very similar to the bushveld, large laid intrusion, and we've proven that those types of reefs are here on a huge scale, long strike, very similar to what you see in the bushveld. So we're pretty excited by what's to come as we continue drilling, and we've only just started. So here's the company overview. We're in a very good position in the company in terms of institutional support. We have, as I said, we raised $6 million just recently, so we're well funded for the immediate drilling we're undertaking over the next 12 months. We have Tribeca, who are our largest shareholder, and they have around 16% of the company. Mimo Strategies in there of 7%, and directors and management 8%. So in total, our top 20 have around half of the company, so it's quite tightly held. We had several resource-focused institutions come in on the recent capital raise. So we've kind of bolstered up quite a good institutional shareholding within the company over, with the recent drilling success, and we expect that to continue as we continue to deliver results from our discoveries and hopefully some new discoveries as well. And you can see on this chart here, we were trading at about 2.83 cents just before the Reef 1 discovery. We announced that, and we raised $6 million at 6 cents. And then the Reef 2 discovery results came through, and we traded down a little bit since then, but we are in a really good position with clear drill targets, highly aggressive drill program underway now, and drill results should start coming through soon and continue for months and months, leading us all the way through Christmas. So here's the Dante project. As I said, it's a huge project. It's 650 square kilometers. You can see we're surrounded by BHP here. So there aren't many junior companies who have a kind of crown, a jewel in the crown like this, a huge project surrounded by a major. We've also got Rio Tinto just near us, and Cobalt Mining in yellow, which is Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates' AI-backed exploration company. Within proximity of us, we have within 10 or 15 kilometers, we've got the Nebo Babel mine development. So that's a $1.7 billion mine development, 15 Ks to the south of us. And that has been essentially, I suppose, 40% built at the moment. It's nickel, copper, and PGEs, platinum, palladium, and gold. It's currently on care and maintenance temporarily due to the nickel price, but we expect that will come. It's primarily a nickel asset. We expect that will come back into operations soon, and I think BHP have invested somewhere near $500 million in it in the recent year, and a huge amount of infrastructure has gone in. We also have the Sakooth deposit kilometers to the south of us. That's 160 million tons of 0.6% copper, and the Manchego deposit just off to our northwest. So we're surrounded by a cluster of these magmatic copper and nickel and platinum, palladium, gold deposits, and we've discovered 2 within our tenement, and we expect that we have a high chance of discovering more. We've also got an airstrip on the tenement. There's grid power. There's a town. We've got a house there, and we've got a full cell service over most of the project. So it may seem remote, but really the investment infrastructure and everything that's come in is substantial. So here's the Reef 1 discovery. It's so far we've drilled 3 kilometers of strike. We've put an exploration target out on this. You can see we're getting mineralization from the surface at outcrops, grades like 5 meters at 0.5% copper, 0.53 grams per ton precious metals. And there's also a huge amount of high grade vanadium and titanium in the same layer with the copper, platinum, and gold mineralization. So it's quite unique in that sense, and reflective of some of the things we see in the Bushveld. So here's the Reef 1 exploration target. Now, because of the simplicity of the deposit style and the fact that it's stratiform, it's kind of like a coal seam, outcrops from surface, we can predict with a high level of confidence where the ore body is going to be. And that's allowed us to come out of a first pass reconnaissance drill program at Reef 1 with an exploration target, which we believe is conservative, just in the shallow portions of between 60 and 110 million tonnes. Ranging from 130 to 340,000 tonnes of contained copper, and between 860 and 2.3 million ounces of precious metals, primarily platinum and gold. And you can see those the breakdowns of gold, platinum, and palladium in there as well. And as a byproduct, there's going to be we believe there's going to be a huge amount of high-grade vanadium and titanium as a byproduct in this deposit as well. But Reef 1 is just one part of this story. That exploration target's only 7 kilometres. And we have a second reef here, Reef 2. We've drilled this over 6.2 kilometres and discovered the exact same style mineralisation, the same combination of metals and grades. And the spacing's too wide for an exploration target on this at the moment, but we expect to come out of the current drill program in a position where we can have a little bit more confidence and certainty around about being able to put a target out for Reef 2, but it's very big in its own right. You know, over 6 kilometres outcropping. We've drilled it over 450 metres width, and we're getting that consistent copper, platinum, gold mineralisation in every hole that we've drilled. You know, we've drilled, if you can see in this grey image here with Reef 1 and Reef 2, between these two reefs in this area, we've drilled 9.2 kilometres of strike. We drilled 40 holes, and 39 out of those 40 holes intercepted the target mineralization and the target unit. So this is not throwing darts at a dartboard here. We've got a high precision drill program. We have high confidence we're going to continue to hit mineralization and prove this up. And because of the nature of the mineralization, we believe we may be able to convert this into a resource quite quickly compared to other deposit styles. So Cronus is another prospect we have on the project. It's not a reef. It's in the north end of the project, and it's a beast of its own. You know, some companies would be excited enough for this to be the only prospect they have in their portfolio, but we're very lucky. It's very close to the Reef 1 and Reef 2 discoveries. We have drilled two shallow RC fences across it. We're seeing hundreds of meters of copper, gold, and palladium mineralization. The intrusion is 7 kilometers long. It's 1.5 kilometers wide. There's a huge amount of sulfide in it. So far, it's low grade, but it's extensive. And what that shows us is there's a huge metal budget in this intrusion. And we know that if we are able to find the location where sulfide saturation has first occurred, where the high-grade sulfide exists in this intrusive complex, then the potential, the size of the prize is the possibility for a very large high-grade sulfide discovery. And that's why we're continuing to invest in drilling and targeting at Cronus. We're doing quite a bit of work on this prospect, and the signatures and the evidence we're seeing, including these drill intercepts here, 200 meters at 0.11% copper from 3 meters. This is mineralized from surface. It's huge. It's all sulfide, primarily bornite, and it's zoned. So you're getting gold zones, copper zones, palladium zones, and we think there's a huge potential here for a large high-grade sulfide discovery, and we're going to continue exploring this alongside developing the 2 existing reef discoveries and drilling of the other reefs on the project. So here's the snapshot, the broader view of the project. If we zoom out, now we haven't drilled any EM targets on this project yet, and all of those yellow stars are EM anomalies, which were defined by BHP when they held the project some years ago. And it's pretty exciting to think that we've really just gone and drilled the outcropping mineralization. We picked some low-hanging fruit. We've made 2 large discoveries, but we're very excited to see what happens as we start to, drill the other reefs, which are outcropping, because there's about 40 kilometers of strike outcropping. We've only drilled 20 kilometers of that strike so far with 2 big copper, platinum, gold discoveries. Got another 20 kilometers of outcropping strike to test over the coming period, but also go in and start testing these EM anomalies, which could represent massive sulfides and could represent more Nebo-Babel and Sakuth style high-grade sulfide mineralization. So this is a copper, platinum, gold prospect with 2 proven large discoveries and huge upside for additional discoveries. And this map really kind of shows the pipeline of some of the pipeline of additional targets that we'll be working on over the coming months and year. So we're doing really good things out in the community. And as I said, we've got a house and we live in the town at the moment. We're working closely with the community. We're providing employment where we can. We're doing heritage surveys and providing income to the community. There's a great existing mining framework agreement with 2 other regional deposits, including BHP's Nebo Babel to the south of us. And it's very important to us to continue to foster a positive relationship, and we highly value our relationship out there in the West Musgrave region. So just in summary, we've got an excellent strategic location surrounded by BHP, very close to almost $500 million worth of infrastructure that has just been put in, and a mine in development, which is set to produce 35,000 tonnes of nickel and about 30,000 tonnes of copper every year for 25 years when it becomes operational. We have multiple discoveries already from a first pass drill program. We're actively drilling right now, and we expect to be drilling for the next couple of months. And there'll be a huge amount of drill results coming through. Our strike rate with hitting copper, platinum, and gold mineralization near the surface over big strike is very, very high, and we expect that strike rate to continue. So it should be an action-packed couple of months as we continue to put out results. We've got big scale, so there's nothing small on this project. Already our initial discovery is 20 kilometres long. The Cronus prospect is 7 kilometres long, and the other reefs we're yet to drill are anywhere from 3 kilometres to 15 kilometres long. So nothing we discover out here is going to be small, and nothing we define is going to be small. It is elephant country. We already have a few elephants in our hands, and we expect to find more. We've got the right management team and technical team to deliver this, and we've proven that with our drilling success. And we think it's the right combination of metals, which provides exposure to the green energy transition upside, but also a nice diversity across different sectors, being the copper, gold, and platinum, with the addition of high-grade vanadium and titanium in the same layer, which provides a diverse exposure across multiple sectors in different commodity cycles of green energy transition metals. So that's us, and that's what we're focused on. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to get back out to site and check in on the drilling again soon.
Great stuff, Thomas. Thank you very much. Very interesting. Just check if there are any questions there. I'll check now.
Well, look, I can't see any new ones in the chat, so I'll start, of course. In this case, I did have the good fortune to get up to that area years ago when I was covering Oz Minerals, and the then Cassini had West Musgrave. It was a very impressive site, all of that sulfide laid out in the trays. But now, of course, BHP's troubles with the nickel price, they've kind of parked the project for a while. So how has that changed, your activities up there? Has it affected them, or what BHP's doing, or are you just pushing on as you would have anyway?
Well, it's really helped us. The competition for native title resources was a bit of a challenge, with the fact the mine was in development, being built, and we're sharing the same resources from the local community. And now we have greater access to those resources, which for a project at our phase is really important, because we're really looking to clear as many drill targets as possible to keep the pipeline of targets coming through and undertake what continues to be an aggressive drill program. So really, in the immediate sense, only benefits for us. The airstrip that we use is on our tenement, so it makes no difference to us really what BHP is doing down the road. They've put in almost $500 million worth of infrastructure, so that's only helped the region. And while it might be on hold temporarily at the moment, it's only advanced the prospects and infrastructure outlook for the province. And we think, for our project, as I said, everything's big out here. Our project certainly has the scale and size, as we've seen so far, to be a standalone. So we don't see ourselves as being reliant on BHP or their infrastructure for the success of our project. Certainly, it's always good to have someone else investing all the money, building that infrastructure, and they've certainly done a lot of that to date.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Thomas. It was good.